Welcome to the Weekly News Roundup. Yes, we have a brand new show layout. We are changing a number of different things around as we have been teasing and hinting at a little bit. And so I want to talk really quickly about the formatting of the show. And we're going to always start with some form of, if there's any form of announcement type thing, that will be here. So announcing the new show format. Of course, it's on Thursday now. We are not going to be releasing the edited down copies, but we are going to be fairly rigid on the scheduling. So we're going to do a deep dive on 3 news articles, one related to typically one related to privacy, one related to AI, one related to business, or, whatever seems to be the best to narrow in on. We're going to take about a 5-minute comment break. That's the only time I'm going to stop and read. Well, it's the first time I'm going to stop and do comments. We're not starting the show with comments any longer. And then we're going to get into QuickLines, quick headlines, 5 articles with a little bit of detail about things that went on in the news this week as relate to the topics we tend to cover. And then we will wrap up with SillyVille, then Feeding the Beasts, and then we will hang out and do comments until we are all bored of doing comments. So that is what the new show format is going to look like. We're also going to put the only promotions on my end are going to be on the front end of the video, and so discussing that, here is Synaptergy. We are highlighting this today. Of course, I wanted to cover this one. I inspired Synaptergy based on the early protocols of what Neuralink was trying to do, and I published this book 5 or 6 years ago, and now there's headlines in the news right now that are very much like what Neuralink is actually doing. Only there are hidden stories in here that could possibly happen. I'm not saying they are happening inside of there, of course, but Synaptergy is an excellent novel. TLM.li/S for Synaptergy, or you can go to synaptergy.com, and the links for that are in the description of this video already. So you can jump over to the page. You can read the first chapter here if you want to, and you can actually listen to the first 5 minutes of the book over on SoundCloud. So there is what we have there. Of course, you can support the channel a number of other ways on the website. switchedtolinux.com/support will get you there. I think it's technically support/monthly-support, but I have it set up so /support gets you there. So you have a number of affiliates. Any new affiliates we have or adjustments to the affiliates will appear on that side. We do have a locals page. We have a Patreon page, Subscribestar. We have a LibrePay over there as well. And we do have a merch store over there, shop.switchedtolinux.com. So that is what we want to highlight as far as our promos. If you want to help support the channel, that is the best place to do it. And with that, we're going to jump right on into our first topic of our news. We're going to do a deep dive looking at what's going on with Proton Mail. So an Indian court orders the blocking of Proton Mail. This actually has happened twice. Unfortunately, Swiss police are intervening to prevent this from happening. Now, what this deals with is some people are using Proton Mail for illegal activities, which you're not supposed to do. The problem is that Switzerland has a law. Switzerland is, of course, where Proton Mail is from. Switzerland has a law that prevents any company in Switzerland from sharing any data with a foreign government. So India comes in to Proton Mail and says, hey, tell us who all these people are. And they say, sorry, bro, we can't. Now, what they can do is India can go to the Swiss government, and the Swiss government will work with Proton Mail, and they are amenable to working with them to figure out who is the culprit, because they do not want their service used for illegal purposes. Because if the services get used for illegal purposes, it damages the reputation of the service for everybody. And that really is an important point. So, looking at the highlights of the story, a court in India has ordered the blocking, and this happens because a local firm alleged that the employees received emails containing obscene and vulgar content. Now, that was the first time. which was a horrible violation of something somewhere around the line. But eventually what ended up happening is somebody ended up using it for a bomb threat as well. I think maybe the bomb threat might have been the first, if I remember correctly. So what they filed a complaint here, and as the email service reportedly refused to share details about the sender of the allegedly offensive emails. Now, I want to highlight the difference between what's going on here and what happened with Telegram. And as we get into this new news, we're going to start with newer news, like things that are current in the headlines, but we're going to go back into some of the older articles to illustrate importance and things. So as you may know or remember, we covered this, the Telegram CEO is arrested. And the reason is that there's a lot of shady things going on Telegram. And so Pavel Durov, the founder and CEO of Telegram, was arrested in Paris over the weekend over allegations his platform is being used for illicit activity, including pill trafficking and distribution of CSAM. Now, that is true. Telegram is used for that. And, Tor can be used for that and a number of other services. The question is there some mediated way to help solve these investigations? And what happened here is the problem isn't that Telegram is being used. The problem isn't that Telegram doesn't contain metadata. The problem is Telegram simply refused to respond to law enforcement's request for data to help with solving a case. That will always get you in trouble. So allegations against Durov include that his platform is being used to share CSAM and pill trafficking, and that Telegram refused to share information or documents with investors when required by law. And the first preliminary charge against him was for complicity in managing an online platform to allow illicit transactions by an organized group, a crime that can carry a sentence of up to 10 years in prison, 500,000 euros in fines, the prosecutor says. And as I predicted when this first happened, I said that he's going to cave and start handing over data. And lo and behold, not too long after this occurred, Telegram will now provide some user data to authorities. And so messaging app Telegram has said it will hand over users' IP addresses and phone numbers to those who have search warrants or other valid legal requests. He says 99.9 repeating percentage of Telegram users have nothing to do with crime, but the small percentage of illicit activities create a bad image for the entire platform. So it's kind of like they put him in a prison cell, said, hey, you want to help us or not? Oh, you don't? Well, we'll just keep you here for a while. So Mr. Durov, who has denied the charges, lashed out with authorities shortly after his arrest, saying holding him responsible for crimes committed by third parties on a platform is surprising and misguided. The problem is, as some have suggested, that the issue is that he is complicit in the response because he is not helping people solve the crimes. Now, this is the difference. What is happening with India is India reached out and there is a law prohibiting them. But the first thing, Proton responded to the request. Okay? Telegram just ignored them. Telegram would receive hundreds of requests and they simply delete the emails or something. Proton Mail responds and says, hey, it is against our laws for us to share data with you. You have to go through the Swiss police. We will work with the Swiss police, and then the Swiss police will help you close your account. So Proton Mail does have a good strategy in place to handle this. The problem is that India just didn't like that. So last year, the police department of the southern state had sought to block Proton Mail after it was found to be used for sending a hoax threats. So it was last year's, to correct what I said earlier, last year's was that. This time it's just somebody insulted you on Proton Mail. Get over it. However, the Swiss federal authorities intervened to prevent the blocking of Proton Mail taking effect, and blocking access to Proton Mail simply prevents law-abiding citizens from communicating securely and does not prevent cyber criminals from sending threats with another email service, especially if the perpetrators are located outside of India. And so Proton here does respond, and there was some news going around saying that India had blocked it. This, as I said, starting back in February. Oh, there's actually an update today. I didn't read the update. I read all my articles last night. Update today in April, reports were again circulating Proton Mail face blocking in India. However, all Proton Mail services remain available. We are aware of court rulings and have referred the matter to the Swiss federal authorities. They've raised the matter with the Indian government officials to ensure everyone in India media can continue protecting their privacy. So that hasn't changed significantly. And the purpose of this, of course, is to say that it is still there, but it is under attack. Groups are trying to assault Proton Mail, and that really is what is going on. So they say here at Proton, they are resolutely against the use of the services contrary to Swiss law, and it would have been regrettable for Proton to have been blocked due to an issue which we share in a common interest. The issue has been raised to attention that the Swiss federal authorities, who have been in contact with relevant authorities, prevent the blocking of it. Okay, so the Indian authorities are doing a great job here. Now it says here, we would like to reiterate that when it comes to abuse of our platform, we have a zero tolerance policy. While end-to-end encryption means users' emails, files, calendar entries, and passwords have strong privacy protections, it's not permissible to use it for any purposes that are contrary to Swiss law. But under Swiss law, Proton is not allowed to transmit any data to a foreign authority, and that's why Proton Mail is good. We are required by law to reject all requests from foreign authorities that are addressed directly to us. However, Proton is legally obligated to respond to orders from the Swiss authorities, who do not tolerate illegal activities conducted through Switzerland and may assist foreign authorities. So what we're going to see here is, because Proton is responding and getting its government involved and working with all of the authorities involved, Proton Mail is going to be safe, at least for now. But there are a lot of people that want to take down a lot of these encrypted platforms. And I would encourage using these platforms like Proton Mail, like Start Mail, possibly the new upcoming Thunderbird Mail might be good. I don't know. We'll have to see what that looks like. But hopefully that one will be a good one as well. That is yet to be seen. But the question now is, what happens if someone is successful? Let's say you're using Proton Mail and they are successful getting the server shut down. What I wanted to provide for you now is just a little bit of a tip to make sure you do not lose your emails and contacts if that happens. Of course, Proton has the Proton Mail bridge. This allows, because everything in Proton Mail is encrypted, Proton Bridge allows for that encryption, decryption, and process to happen on your computer instead of on their server, and it is compatible with a number of different software applications. So whether you are still using Windows or Mac, shame on you for following switchedtolinux. No, okay, you're okay. You're allowed to use those. But Thunderbird, Mac, Windows, Mac, Linux, Mac OS has Apple Mail. They have the Outlook versions. They have the Outlook versions on Windows. All of these can use the Proton Mail bridge, and at least on Thunderbird, we went through and looked at the settings last night, and you can save a copy of your emails on your local computer. So in the event Proton Mail does get shut down, as long as you're using the bridge and a good client like Thunderbird, you can still save a copy of all of your emails from Proton Mail. And so make sure that you are using the Proton Mail with your desktop email client in order to save those. You can't just go right on over here and download it. You can see here for Linux, it has a deb, an RPM, and a package build version. Of course, if I came to this page on a Windows or on a Mac, it would present me with the proper download from that. So I'd highly recommend you use those. Now, I also am an advocate of hosting your own email. Just make sure that you have a copy of your emails in the event the worst should happen. So that is what is up with Proton Mail. And now we need to jump over to our next story. This one is dealing, that one was more dealing in business. This one is dealing in privacy. And this deals with cars, because the Guardian reports this one. A source of data: are electric cars vulnerable to cyber spies and hackers? Now, I'm going to start this article by indicating, as Louis Rossmann frequently says, that it is not just electric cars. You need to get out of this idea that says, oh, it's just electric cars. No, every modern car has this. Every modern car has this so much that hey, here's even Subaru. Subaru says select trim includes Subaru's driver focus system, which uses facial recognition to watch for signs of drowsiness or distraction. If the system picks up on lack of attention, it gives visual and audio alerts. So that is embedded inside of your Subaru. Now, Mozilla came out and said, except for the trackers, cameras, microphones, and sensors capturing your every move, modern cars are a privacy nightmare. So basically, Mozilla looked at every car manufacturer and found every one of them was a giant privacy nightmare. It's not just electric vehicles. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and see what The Guardian had to say. Then we'll jump over what Mozilla has to say, and we'll talk about a little bit more of a frightening take on this one as well from here in the U.S. So, of course, due to fears Beijing could extract sensitive data from the devices, the UK government has warned against connecting or pairing phones with cars. This is a true thing. This is not just electric cars. If you have a car that you can easily sync your phone to, all of your contacts, your geoping locations, all sorts of stuff from that phone can be transmitted and stored and saved in that car. In fact, it was a couple years ago. I was in North Dakota at the time. I was camping in a little place in North Dakota, a little bit to the west of Fargo, and I was watching some true crime stuff, and I saw a true crime episode, and I wish I remember which one it was or what episode it was. It was the first instance I saw where the car data was used in solving a crime. They're like, hey, these cars now extract a lot of data about the user. So the police got a warrant for the car and extracted the car's data, and it proved that the owner of the car was there because it had the owner and the car and the phone and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's kind of problematic. But The Guardian is misguided in thinking it's just electric cars, and it's not. Every car brand, gas and electric, has the same stuff. Rafe Pilling here, the director of threat intelligence firm of the cybersecurity firm SecureWorks, says electric cars have a myriad of ways of generating data that is of interest to hostile states, giving microphones, cameras, Wi-Fi connectivity they contain. All of those things are inside of modern gas engines as well. One of our supporters had one of these new trucks that had all this kind of stuff in it. He had to go in there and disconnect the Wi-Fi modules so that the car would stop sending data back to the car manufacturer. So you can do that too. But they are full of cameras. They are full of microphones. They are full of and they say here, Wi-Fi. Screw Wi-Fi. These things have SIM chips in them. They don't have to connect to your Wi-Fi. They have SIM cards in them. They're just perpetually connecting to the internet anyway. So it's not just electric cars. Mobile phone connected to the car, whether by charging cable or Bluetooth, is another source of data, he says. So if you're syncing your phone to it as well. Now, why are the Chinese vehicles of concern? Chinese law obliges Chinese companies to cooperate in the state's security. So one has to assume if a car is capable of spying on you, it may be misused to do so. I got news for you. That's not just China. In fact, our last article, we're going to look at an entire article from the police showing how police are being trained to use the data in your cars here in America. Isn't that awesome? We'll get to that article here in a minute. But these people are all like, oh, the Chinese are bad. They're going to get us. I'm sorry. Proton Mail is required to go with what the Swiss has to say, and then Facebook has to go with what the government has to say, because it'd be really bad if we'd have to come by and take your social media from you, Zuckerberg. You know, they all got it, you know. So it's not just China. So here's what Mozilla had to say, of course. We've looked at this one before, but it's worth looking at again. Every car manufacturer is a privacy nightmare. They say all 25 car brands we researchers earned our privacy not included warning label, making cars official worst category of products for privacy we have ever reviewed. Now, as crazy as Mozilla can be, sometimes they do good work inside of this area. All right, so 84% of the car brands we research say they share your personal data with service providers, data brokers, and other businesses we know little about or even nothing about. 19 of them, 76%, say they sell your personal data. And you've agreed to it because you've signed your bottom line to the car. Here is the various car brands. There's the data use, data control, track record, security, AI, and review. Let's see. Oh, Tesla's using AI. Oh, dear. All right. But Tesla was actually good on a couple of the other markers, though. Nissan, so they say Tesla is only the second product we've ever reviewed to receive all of our privacy dings. So what set them apart was the untrustworthy AI ding. The brand's AI-powered autopilot reportedly involved in 17 deaths. But Nissan was the most infamous, I guess, because of what was in their actual privacy policy. It's worth reading the full the review in full, but you should know that Nissan includes your activity. Not to be outdone, Kia also mentions they collect information about your life in their privacy policies. Oh, and 6 car companies, they say they collect your genetic information and genetic characteristics. I don't know how you're collecting my genetic information, but apparently you are. So there you have, like, you take your car in for your oil change that you have to get at their place, and they have a CSI team going in there collecting your DNA samples from inside the car. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're collecting DNA, but they are. But that's what Mozilla had to say. Of course, dealing with them now, here in the UK, Wired has this article this week, car subscription features. So all these cars with subscription features. These raise your risk of government surveillance, police records show. And so what they said here is the additional levels of internet connectivity with this subscription model can increase a driver's exposure to government surveillance and the likelihood of being caught up in police investigations. So merely having a car which is capable of utilizing subscriptions, whether or not you use those subscriptions, means the car is more trackable by police. But some of it dealt with what carriers were being used in this as well. So the reason is because for a subscription service in a car to be able to check if it works correctly, well, guess what? What happens now is they have to have a perpetual data collection to verify the subscription every single time you go to use a function, or, at least a certain interval. So they say U.S. law enforcement agencies are regularly trained on how to take advantage of connected cars with subscription-based features, drastically increasing the amount of data that can be accessed during investigations. So the car, if the more connectivity the car has, the more data they can extract. They say if the vehicle has an active subscription, it does create more data. And the presentation acknowledges that access to data can ultimately be limited due to the choices made not only by the vehicle manufacturers, but by the internet service providers on which connected devices rely. So they said police may be able to rely on AT&T to help with certain vehicles based on connected devices in the car, but lack the ability to do so when the device relies on T-Mobile or Verizon. So AT&T is like, you don't need a warrant. Just come on over and ask. We'll give you everything. T-Mobile and Verizon are like, we kind of want to see a warrant first. So there's good news if you're on T-Mobile or Verizon. At least they want a warrant before they're handing data over. Charlie McCoy, a GM spokesperson, tells Wired the company now requires a court order before handing over location data. So now they need a court order, which would be a warrant, or actually, I think I can't remember this one. I think a subpoena could be a court order as well. So they say down here, nearly all subscription-based car features rely on devices that come pre-installed on a vehicle with a cellular connection necessary only to enable the automaker's recurring revenue scheme. It's all about the auto manufacturers making more money. All right, so the police documents note that the companies often hook customers into adopting services through free trial offers, and in some cases, the devices are communicating with cell towers even when users decline to subscribe. So they can basically track your car via cell towers. And of course, they can do that with their, with their Stingrays and things like that. However, there is still question about the geofence warrants. Now, they actually mentioned here there's the geofence warrants, but there's also another type of attack that is used in here, the tower dump. So the geofence warrant is done at the level of like Google and Apple, because what Google and Apple is utilizing their location data to set up a geofence and say, give me all the phones inside this geofence within a certain period. A tower dump is similar, but it comes with the carriers and says, give us all of the phone information related on these. Now, again, AT&T required them, allowed the police just to say, hey, when and where. Whereas Verizon, I think it was Verizon, said that they have to have a very narrow scope of exactly where to be looking. So they wanted a lot more data. So the police documents reviewed by Wired alone demonstrate the arbitrary nature of vehicle surveillance upon shifting legal landscapes, with police noting, for instance, that while Verizon will refuse to allow police to define their own radius, when requesting cell towers. Its competitors have no such limitations. Another document notes that while AT&T will conduct pings locating a device in real time, it will only do so for voice devices. So only phones, not a data-only SIM that would be in a car. Now, over here, in a letter sent by the FTC, to the FTC, U.S. Senators Wyden and Markey, Democrats from Oregon and Massachusetts, respectively noted that a range of automakers from Toyota, Nissan, Subaru, and others are willing to disclose location data to the government in response to a subpoena without a court order. So Nissan, Toyota, Subaru, if they're collecting your data, they will hand it over. So they note here that the police documents reviewed by wires contained substantial detail about car surveillance that appeared to be publicly available, suggesting corporations are being far more open with law enforcement than they are with their own customers. So how oftentimes do you have a conversation with your car manufacturer that their data is even being collected? Do people even know their data is being collected? And that really is the crux of the model here, that you need to stop and take some of these preemptive steps to make sure you're not getting caught up. Don't connect your phone. If you do have a car with some internet connectivity, pull that SIM card out of there, disconnect the antennas, just make the thing so it cannot possibly communicate back, and you are going to be in a lot better shape. Now, for our last article today, we want to cover the what's going on with Visa and MasterCard. They are both simultaneously jumping in on the Agentic AI. And, of course, as Agentic AI, if you're unfamiliar with the term, this is the next evolution of AI. First, we started with large language models, as the LLMs, your ChatGPTs and Lambdas. Now the next phase they're moving to is Agentic, which means an agent of you. The AI is an agent of you. So you provide the agent with tasks. Now, I covered the video over here. The Don't Use This Browser video, which is all about Perplexity's video, or Perplexity's new Comet browser, which is seeking to be an agentic AI browser. And so that's one of the things that we had to be cautious of there is, do you want to use these or not? It's really up to you, but the challenge we're starting to see is we're getting to this world where now they want us to basically hand over large portions of our life to the computers. And both Visa and MasterCard are simultaneously jumping into this. With Visa's area, let me reject all here. Visa over here, the subpoints from their news release, collaborates with Anthropic, IBM, Microsoft, Mistral AI, OpenAI, Perplexity, Samsung, Stripe, and more. Will make shopping experiences more personal, more secure, and more convenient as they become powered by AI. So more personal means they're targeting you more with ads. More secure, of course, that's fewer hackers. That's probably the only good thing coming out of this. And then more convenient, this just means an increase in consumerism, which is certainly an issue. So it's groundbreaking new initiative that opens Visa's payment network to the developers and engineers building the foundational AI agents transforming commerce. They say now with Visa Intelligent Commerce AI, agents can find, shop, and buy for consumers based on their pre-selected preferences. Each consumer sets the limits, and Visa helps manage the rest. So millions of people will soon rely on AI to find the perfect sweater, research new vacation spot, or fulfill their grocery list. Visa will remove friction from the payment itself, making it possible to transact in an AI-driven world in a way which is secure and trusted. So that's really what their goals are. Now, I see here as I look at this, building websites for people, what this basically is now a gatekeeper that you're going to now have to work with these AI systems, or else your products will be invisible to agentic AI. In other words, if I say, go out and find me a really cool sweater with all of the personal preferences you know I have because you're a crazy spy and you've been stalking me. Okay, true story. That's what they do. It goes out and scours the internet. If you do not have your website set up with Visa's APIs to allow the agentic AI to browse your catalog of sweaters, you are immediately out of the listing, which is going to force everybody to buy into the agentic AI model, or else they will not be able to compete in the marketplace. That is a fundamental problem. But let's go ahead, look at the offers down here. The AI-ready cards replaces card details with tokenized digital credentials. So that's really the only good thing here. And I heard about the concept that people were going to start with removing the numbers off of the cards, and everything's going to be tokenized. I didn't find any truth to that. It's possibly out there. Maybe I just didn't find it. That's probably, though, what's going on here is you would create a token allowing payments just for this agentic AI. The same thing that like privacy.com does, where you can create virtual cards for a number of different things. That's probably the only good thing coming out of this press release. As far as the AI-powered personalization, consumers share basic Visa spend and purchase insights with their consent to improve agent performance and personalized shopping. Now, if it's all directly opt-in, okay, but I have a sneaky suspicion there's going to be a whole lot of opt-out, or we're collecting data without you really knowing or having anything to do about it. So that's the kind of detail on Visa's approach here. MasterCard effectively releases the same thing with effectively the same talking points. Only difference is they're working with different groups, Braintree, Checkout.com, to provide the tokenized systems. And let's see, they were working with AI systems. Based on preferences and feedback, intelligent AI can make the purchase. Also recommend the best way to pay, for example, using MasterCard. Of course, MasterCard system's going to suggest you use MasterCard. They make money for that. The program will require trusted AI agents to be registered and verified, after which they will be able to make secure payments on behalf of their users. So Visa and MasterCard basically have the same general idea here. So looking at the TechCrunch article, so now credit card giants Visa and MasterCard are getting into the AI game, announcing an intelligent commerce, which it says enables AI to find and buy on your behalf. So the companies include Anthropic, IBM, Microsoft, Mistral AI, OpenAI, Perplexity, Samsung, Stripe, among others. MasterCard, again, will offer the same features. And they're saying, they say there will soon be a soon-to-be 30-year-old planning her milestone birthday party. She can now chat with an AI agent to proactively curate a selection of outfits and accessories from local boutiques and online retailers based on her style, the venue's ambience, and weather forecast. Based on her preferences and feedback, the intelligent agent can then make purchases and also recommend the best way to pay, for example, using MasterCard One credential. So in this scenario, once again, you can see that if I am a local store not buying into your agentic AI model, I will be immediately excluded from your service. So this kind of hurts some people down the road. Of course, PayPal is also getting into the agentic commerce systems as well. So this is basically everybody has come down the pipeline and is doing all of these exact same things all at the exact same time. So that's kind of a little bit creepy. So there is our 3 main deep dive articles. We are going to move now over into the comments section for roughly 5 minutes. We're going to see what is going on in the wide world of comments here. If I can actually get my system on here. I'm trying to get into my matrix here first, because there's always the fewest comments over there. I'm going to try and do this in a way that we have cover the most overall comments the quickest, since we're doing about 5 minutes or so. Over there on Rumble, 31 people watching. Hello, Ivan's over there. Dan is over there. Greetings to you as well. And X-Rider's over there. Greetings, nerd. How's it going, dude? All right, we have 16 currently watching over on Odyssey. And it looks like it's just me and Ivan hanging out over there on Odyssey. So let's check in on Zatubies. We got 99 people watching. That's been a record for a while. Let me know, guys. How do you like this new format? Is this a nice, cool new format? I'm still working around a little bit. I probably might want to add a couple more screens and things like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at our comments. Cowboy Trucking, greetings. Profil, greetings there. Yes, we are discussing the India one, as you have seen by by now. I'm just going to scan through the comments here so we can get through. Oh, you guys are talking about donuts. So I went to, in fact, we have a thunderstorm going right now. Hopefully you can't hear a lot of it. That thunderstorm that came through on Tuesday annihilated our town. We still have about 50% of our county is without power still. I think most of the town, maybe a lot of the town is supposed to be restored sometime today. But I go to the donut shop today. I think they had 7 glazed donuts left. That is all the donuts they had left. They were the only donut shop left open in town. Everyone else was closed from the lack of power. So I had me a couple of the glazed donuts as if I had a choice, glazed or nothing. But the good news is the first draft of the next short story for our short story series is done. I'll be editing it over the course of the next week, and then hopefully we'll get that out to you guys next week over on the supporter channels. I have cinnamon stick tea today, folks. All right, Krispy Kreme in the area. They make all right donuts, but coffee is just so good for the money. Yeah, coffee is just so for the money. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Krispy Kreme coffee. Dunkin's coffee is a lot better. I think Krispy Kreme donuts are better than Dunkin's, though. Of course, they usually hit Krispy Kreme right when they're coming off the conveyor belt, and those are absolutely amazing. Last week, wife and I found a tea shop. Nice. All right, Steam Deck is my main PC in the living room. Nice, very good. Hello, War Thunder. Greetings to you. Hello, Mark. Greetings to you. How's it going there? Greetings and citations, KO2610. How's it going there? Nelson Mitchell III. Wow, got in at the beginning. Awesome. Very good. Bread bean jellies, more like jellies. All right. Though me and my dad have been fighting about what counts as a simmer. You're dead or your dad? Are you over there talking to the graveyard in your backyard, or are you over there talking to your dad? I'm not sure. So adventurous. All right. Diddy don't want to disappear like Epstein. Uh-oh. I saw some headline about Diddy, but I didn't get a chance to read it. Hello, any creature morph? No, I'm not going to give you the ability to shapeshift like any creature. Deal with it. Who's attacking Proton Mail? Yep. We got that one covered. Right about that information is on the users and the communication does Proton even have? They'll have some metadata. They'll have a little bit of stuff. They could possibly provide a list of other people communicating with. I don't know what exactly they would have. But at least they're responding, and that's more than what Telegram did. KeyPass XE, keep it local. Yep. Call my bank, mom and dad. There you go. Yeah. You know why banks have drive-through windows, right? So cars can see the real owners. Hello, System 911 Tim. Greetings to you. Hello, Infrasound Lab. Greetings to you as well. Nick Malone. Proton no longer secure as Tor. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Grayson Peddle. Greetings. I prefer car-free living. Yeah, here in America, it's a lot harder to do. You can do it in a big city, but you know. Proton keeps changing its functionality. Features keep disappearing. They're pushing everything into paid packages. No free lunches. Pay for when it comes to privacy. I'd rather pay for service just to have privacy. Yeah, that's why if I didn't host my own email, I would probably use them. StartMail protects my privacy, and I protect my privacy myself. One of the challenges with any email platform is your system is only going to be as private as the person you're emailing. So if you're on Proton Mail emailing a Gmail user, you might be giving up a lot of data. I don't know. StartMail is Netherlands. Yep. User T-Mobile, AT&T, government-owned, confirmed. Yep. Network will always be the weak link. GDPR, LOL, a cash cow isn't even privacy. No, it's more about who can they sue. That's the new taxing arm of the EU, right? Our money's getting low. Who can we sue? We haven't done Meta in a while. Let's sue Meta. Oh dear. Sequester your carbon. Your footprint is too large. Gamification of your entire life. There you go. All right, Grace of Head, you get what you pay for, and it pays. There's no promise of privacy. If you do pay the promise of privacy, you can get, but promise privacy can be confirmed to the real you. Like, the thing is, though, is as long as you're not being an idiot, you're okay. If you're being an idiot, then, and the government comes and it says, hey, we need information on this idiot from Proton Mail, I think they'll happily hand over the idiot through the proper channels. And that really is the situation. The PayPal Mafia, yeah, absolutely. It's cool that AI picked the border for you. No. No, that is actually the border I've used. That's actually an actual picture of a one of my old computers. It's actually the same background I've used for years. I've lightened it and darkened it over the years. If you go back and look closely and everything else, it's the exact same background. I've been using it for years. So drinking that McCafe or Seattle's Best all smell and taste like actual coffee. McCafe or Seattle's Best all smell and taste like actual coffee. I don't know. Yeah, McDonald's coffee is amazing. Seattle's Best, I haven't had enough. ProtonMail, yeah, ProtonMail's good, although it can be a little bit complicated, I think. All right, we are going to stop right there. That is approximately our 5-minute mark, so we're going to jump right on in, and we're going to jump right on into our quick heads. What is that what we're calling it? Quick headliners or QuickLines. There you go. QuickLines. That's what we're calling it. I'll get this down eventually. Maybe I'll build a background that has the title up there. We just have 5 articles we want to cover really quick. What's going on? How California sent residents' personal health data to LinkedIn. The hilarious part is this is tied into the Obamacare stuff where they forced everybody to use these central exchanges in order to give information. And the problem is, and I see this with a lot of websites, the website owner doesn't know what they need to do, but they hire some SEO firm. They're like, hey, get lots of people over here tracking stuff. The only way to do that is to engage in some marketing plan. The only way to do a marketing plan is to have some form of data analytics trackers in there. And so they add the data analytics trackers because they don't really know the law of the industry. They just know the SEO laws and things like that. So that's pretty cool. But of course, now what happens is they have this giant place where you go and sign up, the centralized registry, and you sign up on the California one, and that linked over into the federal one, and so all this kind of things happen. Well, the problem is that they had trackers embedded for all of these different systems, and so the trackers embedded for all these different systems, now that sends all the information on that page through session replay, of course, back to the company. So as visitors filled out forms of the website, trackers on the same page told LinkedIn their answers to questions about whether they were blind, pregnant, or used a high number of prescription medications. Trackers also monitored whether the visitors said they were transgender or possible victims of domestic abuse. In a statement, Kelly Donahue, a spokesperson for the agency, confirmed that the data was sent to LinkedIn as part of an advertising campaign. Since being informed of the tracking, all active advertising-related tags across their website have been turned off out of an abundance of caution, she adds. So you can see here that this is the actual text being sent. Are you pregnant? More information, so, and then is this submission true or false? So you can see that somebody at LinkedIn could actually pull this data and actually see what's going on. So experts expressed alarm at the idea of those millions of people could have had sense of health data sent to private company without their knowledge or consent. Sarah, is it Georgahan? Whatever. Senior counsel at the Electronic Privacy Information Center said it was concerning and invasive for a health insurance website to be sending all that data, which is wholly irrelevant for the use of profit for a company like LinkedIn. And here's the problem. They didn't do it intentionally. Okay, they didn't do it and sit back and say, hey, we're just going to go ahead and send all this data to LinkedIn first for the fun of it. It's because you can't advertise on these platforms without tying in the trackers. I cannot go and set up an advertising campaign in a privacy-centric way. You have to link your site back to the advertising purveyor in order for them to serve ads. So this isn't necessarily like it is the healthcare's company's problem because you need to not do this, but at the same time, we need to have ways, if we want to engage in advertising, maybe we don't need to. Hey, is this me actually defending advertising? Is somebody actually making me advertise? Like, no, I don't want to do that. No. You're going to force me to do it though, aren't you? Anyway, some of the data sent to LinkedIn was relatively innocuous, such as what page were visited. Covered California also sent the company data information when visitors selected doctors to see if they were covered by a plan, including their specialization. The site also told LinkedIn if someone searched for a specific hospital. So by using the tags, the business and other organizations can later target advertisements on LinkedIn to consumers that have already shown interest in their products or services. So it's all about advertising, sending data up so you can be advertised. This is why they have to do it, and this is how it works. It's a little bit on the frightening side. Anyway, on to our next article here. Employee monitoring app exposes users, leaks 21 plus million screenshots. Of course, it will shock nobody here, through an Amazon AWS S3 colander. Yes, I call them colanders, not buckets, because those things leak like a sieve on the internet. Very few people know how to properly secure those things. So with that, though, one would expect the employee monitoring app to be of a higher standard, and don't expect anything like this to be of a higher standard. Work Composer is the particular one here. So if your company's using it, share this article with your boss. And of course, all of the articles are found in the description of this video. Work Composer left over 21 million images exposed to an unsecured Amazon S3 colander. These images show frame-by-frame activity log of remote workers. Okay, so the software logs keystrokes, tracks how long an employee spends on each app, and records desktop screenshots every few minutes. This means those 21 million images could reveal anything from work processes to employees' personal information, all on a leaky colander. So if you're using these things, maybe start having a deeper conversation with your employer about the necessity of such things and verify that they are secured. Of course, this is just a third-party service because they want to have all this stuff. They've been sold how good or great of a deal this is, but they don't actually want to be, responsible for doing something like this. So whatever that happens to be worth. All right, over in UK, half of the businesses who replace workers with AI regret their decision. This is actually good news. 55% of these companies regret making AI redundancies. So 2 in 5, 39% of UK businesses made redundancies due to their AI adoption and hopes for the technology. However, more than half, 55% of them, are now admitting those redundancy decisions were wrong. Consequences of the AI-induced redundancies include widespread internal confusion, leading employees quitting and a drop in productivity, the exact opposite of what the business had initially hoped for with the deployment of artificial intelligence. And I think a lot of that is because the artificial intelligence companies have sold them a bill of goods that doesn't even come close to being reality. So overall, the research paints a troubling picture for the state of AI, highlighting the total lack of understanding. The good news is about this is that, hey, at least we're going to see a circumstance where people are being a little bit more skeptical of AI as things go. So our next article here, this is tied into our promo there of Synaptergy. Find the link for that, of course, in the description down below. But listen to the first Neuralink patient with ALS give glory to God after the brain chip implant. I'm a better disciple of Jesus Christ because I have ALS, he says. So he has a non-vocal AMS, meaning he cannot talk, and he was actually with the help of Neuralink, it translated everything that he was thinking into words, exactly like my book Synaptergy, by the way. My book Synaptergy came out years ago. It's kind of funny. But this is...
Hi, I am Brad Smith. I'm the third person in the world to receive the Neuralink brain implant. I'm also the first person with ALS and the first nonverbal, which means that I rely on it for all communication.
All right, so we're not going to play any more of that. Of course, you can find the link down here and listen to his whole speech if you want. So that is literally an AI voice processing him talking, despite he is not capable of talking. Neuralink has allowed him to think about what he wants to say and actually say it with accuracy. That's actually pretty cool. But you can listen to the whole message where, and this is just a neat thing about society. Maybe it's one of those philosophical things. Almost every amazingly powerful technology, the first thing many people do with it is praise God with it. And that's kind of cool, actually. Learn the printing press comes out. What do they first do? It's printing things for God. That's kind of even the motivation. Smith is the third person to see the transplant. Elon Musk, CEO of Neuralink, is rolling out the technology to those who suffer from paralysis with plans to expand the company's offerings to restore sight to the blind. And so that's actually kind of interesting. And finally, we have some Roku news. Roku Tech patents prove its potential for delivering interruptive ads. Now, they want to have non-interruptive ads, but I don't think that's possible because, in my opinion, every single advertisement interrupts things. Sorry if you got an ad just as I said that, but, Anyway. So to make up for the losses of cheaply priced hardware, Roku's dependent on selling advertisements to its OS, including screensavers and on the home screen, of course. They experiment with new ways of showing ads that test users' tolerance. Now, we talked about what LG's upcoming model is, utilizing emotional cues instead of demographic cues for ads in hopes that it will be I think the research said it was between 40 and 400 times more effective to target your emotions than your demographics. And that just sounds like psychological experiments to me, in all honesty. But what they're trying to say here is in an interview this week, Jordan Rust, Roku's head of ad marketing, emphasized that Roku tries to deliver ads that don't interrupt viewers. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Quote, advertisers want to be part of a good experience. They don't want to be interruptive. You see, that's why if I see your ad too many times, I put your product on a blacklist. I just don't buy it. I'm just not interested. So for many streamers, however, ads and a better user experience are contradictory. Amen. There you go. So Roku was reminded in March of how ads on its OS could be perceived as interruptive when it tested autoplay video ads that loaded before Roku users saw the home screen. This is a test for Moana 2 movie, and backlash ensued, especially among users. See, this is one of the things I have a fundamental problem with, is because a lot of these companies are sitting back and trying to say, listen, we want to cap your internet. There's too much internet being used. You have a certain bandwidth. And then now 50% of our bandwidth is taken up by some advertisement we don't even want to see. That's nonsense. And this is why, you know what? I'm not going to play their game. I'm not going to be like, oh, let's get Roku. Okay, let's deal with ads. No, I'm not buying streaming services. It's not happening. I have hundreds of movies. I can watch my movies. Thank you. Very convenient for me. Have a look at my Jellyfin video. I wish I pulled up that one to show you, but this is my QuickLines. So we don't actually do the deep dive on this one. That would be on my loading ones here. Rose told Verge this week that all the ads in Roku are meant to be additive to the consumer experience. Some ads are meant to help guide people towards content they love. You can make an argument for this in some instances. You know, some people like the fact that Spotify will take the songs you like to listen to and promote to you other similar songs to it. Some people like that feature. I can understand that. But in my instance here, no. But that's why I don't use Roku or any other services like it. So they did have this big backlash due to the Moana 2 test. They say despite the backlash, Roku still plans on finding ways to make ads on its platform more shoppable, interactive, and relevant. That's all I need. Shoppable and interactive advertisements. The only interaction I want to have with my ad is click the button as fast as possible to make the thing go away, because I'm an advocate for the advertisement-free life. And by the way, I do it pretty well. So anyway, Roku is built on ads, not hardware. One of Roku's most concerning ad experiments, this one's terrifying, comes from a patent it received in 2024 that lets it show ads over anything you plug into your TV's HDMI port. So if you just like, I'm not plugging this into the internet. Well, you have to plug it into the internet to agree to the terms of service. Then you can turn it on. Now they will have a way that if I say, I'm never going to put my Roku stuff in there, I'm never going to do anything, I'm just going to sit here with my archaic DVD player, put a spinning disc in there, play the thing. They are going to find ways. They now have a patent to show you an ad over the video that you have plugged in to your HDMI port. Isn't that frightening? They say the technology includes multiple models dedicated to detecting and analyzing on-screen content and inserting ads on top of an existing video screen. So effectively, they are spying on the things you're watching. They said they have not deployed that technology. They say they may never, but of course they will. You know, as Roku continues seeking new ways to appeal to advertisers, watchful eyes are curious to see how much Roku will open the door to ad formats that could be viewed as intrusive. Of course, corporations and streaming viewers may have differing views of what is considered intrusive. Amen to that. So there is our QuickLines news for today. And what we're going to do now is wrap up with some SillyVille, and then we are going to go on over and feed the beast. I gotta find a beast first. I don't have any beasts over on the bed. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive right on into SillyVille. We just have a couple articles here. Spain experienced the nationwide power outage 1 week after reaching 100% green energy. They have achieved 100% green energy, and then they had a week-long blackout. Wish you had that coal factory going now, didn't you? You know, can't make it up. For those of you who scored home, April 2nd, Spain brags about 100% renewable power. April 28th, Spain has its first nation's largest blackout in history. There you go. 6 days after celebrating 100% renewable power, Spain blames rare atmospheric phenomena for the nation's largest blackout in history. All right, so mostly 60% of their power is coming from solar, and there was apparently some event. What is this, Spain? Maybe they got too close to Britain, because if you saw this week, Britain wants to literally do an experiment to block the sun. You know, those chemtrails that we were all told, that's true, that's not true, that's true, that's not true, that's true, that's not true. I have no idea. There you have it. Here's your wind there. Your nuclear is still 11. Your solar thermal's 5. Congenital and waste. Cogeneration and waste. And we have combined cycle. So, basically, they say, this guy here is saying, hey, I have a new windable solar flashlight radio. God, awesome. This is actually Spain 3 years ago, as they are detonating a nuclear power plant. We no longer need nuclear power plants. We have green energy. Now they're wanting the nuclear power plant back, by the way. So there you go. There you go. Still no electricity. This is what actually what the stores looked like today for me. As the storm came through and knocked everything out, I go, and this is actually, the shelves here are fuller than the shelves. I literally walk into the donut shop and there's like nothing on the shelves except there's like 7 poor glazed donuts. So I opted to buy 2 of them. So, you know, leave a couple for someone else. So, of course, people were stranded on the train. They had to use the emergency exits to get off the train in the middle of absolutely nowhere. So there you have it, folks. That's what happens when you rely 100% on green energy. Taking it from a guy who lives on green energy, folks. It is not always the most reliable. And on to the greatest of all. You wouldn't steal a car anti-privacy campaign. Use pirated fonts. It's awesome. All right, so just for the nostalgic factor for all you guys. Gotta have it, right? Okay, that font right there, stolen. It's pirated. They didn't actually get the license, the rights to use that. They go into a little bit of background, who did it, and really the guy that they stole his font, he's actually knew they stole his font, and he just thought it was hilarious, so he never said anything about it. So that's kind of the gist of it all. Of course, fonts, and I try to explain this to people as I do a lot of things in the writing community. I try to explain to people, you can't just find a font, even if it's like a free download. You can't just find a font and throw it on something. We had a case with a client recently where they're like, oh, I hired somebody for like $20 to redo the logo and I hate it. It's horrible. I said, well, send me what he's got and, you know, we'll look at it and see if it's fixable or if it's a dumpster fire. And it was a dumpster fire. But I said, the first thing is the font he used in the logo, he is not allowed to use that in commercial purposes, which is a logo. You can't do that. So, of course, I do want to point you to, I do have another channel dedicated specifically for writing. And 5 years ago, I wrote a video about the proper usage of fonts and font licenses. So you can find this video down there. It is in the show notes down there. So font licensing tips from Writing Done Right. This is actually my video from 5 years ago. And we have a ton of other videos if you are into writing, or if you're into LibreOffice, there's a boatload of detailed LibreOffice tutorials on Writing Done Right. You can have a look over at that place, that channel over there, Writing Done Right. And again, this video is linked down below. You can find that. And that is our SillyVille for the night. So now what we are going to do is we are going to attempt to find ourselves a cat for our kitty cam. So we'll go ahead and feed the beasts, and then we will get into the rest of the comments shortly. All right. Hey, kitties. Hey, kitties. You want some kitty treats? You guys want some kitty treats? Yeah, you want some kitty treats? Come on, buddy. Some kitty treats. Oh, boy. I got a kitty here. I got a kitty here. There you go. There you are. Yeah. Here you go. Turn around so people can see the cute part of you. Here you go. dummy. It's right here. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh, it's right here. All right, so there are our beasts. It looks like I need to do some adjustments on that camera. I thought I had the camera placement right on that before I started, but apparently I did not. Sorry about that. I'll fix that for next week. All right. So let's go ahead and check in on our comments. Let me get logged back over into, see if anybody's over here on Matrix yet. And we got a couple folks over there on Matrix. Let's see what's going on there. All right, let's see. You got Laserfair. Greetings there. He's confused about the crazy state of the world going on over there. And let's see if there's anything else. We got some videos over there. Oh, yeah, they were discussing the PewDiePie Linux video, which I haven't looked at yet. So, I don't know, maybe I'll have a look at it. Let's see. Permitted the privilege. Let's see. Well, silly, if you're not connecting your Roku, then it's worthless. You may as well remove it. Doesn't inject ads. Okay, so what we're talking about, though, Laissez-faire, is there are Roku OS TVs. And so if you have a Roku TV, just having the Roku TV set up, and even if you're not using Roku and you're using an external device, the Roku-powered TVs will inject ads. I think that's where they were getting at. All right, we got 27 still watching on Rumble. And we got Amos Huckleberry showed up. How's it going there? Killkick, greetings to you. Watching from Steam Deck after buying it has become almost entirely dock PC. Awesome. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to keep an eye out. I might keep an eye out for a low-cost one if I can find a used one somewhere. I might think about it. You know me and all my gaming addiction and all, you know. Maxwell House Colombian is my favorite coffee. Death Wish is also good. I still have my Amarillo coffee here as well. Wegmans brand coffee. Pretty good stuff. All right, let's see. Just loaded CashioS. There you go. Hello, Hal 9000's over here. Greetings there. Darn, I missed the Proton Mail stuff. Yeah, you can go back to the beginning. The good news is, too, is we are recording the streams in wherever I can. I'm going to do them in 1080p instead of 720 because I have enough internet to do it. All right, we got 15 currently watching on Odyssey. See what's going on over here. Let's see. Stuck at 1080p. Let's see. Crazy Indian government also banned VLC for no apparent reason. MBV is a good lightweight player, yeah. Hello, Jim. Greetings to you. 100% of Spain and Portugal, the whole grid uses smart meters, yep. Yeah, Pennsylvania forces smart meters on everybody as well because the old government, the werewolf of Harrisburg, he had a friend that sold those, and so he passed a law and required everybody to buy them from his friend. That dude should be in jail. All right, and we got 75 watching on the Zatubies. What do we have? We maxed out at 110 today. Awesome. Hey, it looks like Thursday news is a success. All right, let's have a look over at our comments over here. Hello, all. I forgot, no longer on Fridays. Yep. Hello, Mr. Snipes. Greetings. Cafe, I buy the in the container. There you go. PC does not meet Windows 10 specs. Aww. I'm keeping my Windows 10 PC, but buy a mini PC with Windows 11 on it, and I will do my email and banking there. and still play. I would not do your email and banking on Windows. Hell no. They're going to collect everything you're doing. You should use, I have on my channel, I have a couple of different videos about using a USB drive to have a dedicated banking machine on Linux. Works perfectly. You should look into that. You can just boot into it, do all your banking stuff, and then boot out of it. Then you never risk a virus or some issue infecting it just from general browsing. Everything will be isolated into its own system. Have a look at those. Zoho Mail is complicated. Let's see. Night of Light, greetings. Just wait for the internet to be taken offline. Back to cyber cafes or the offline game stuff. There you go. Hey, bring back LAN parties. That'd be awesome, right? I make calories today, but I can't have the morsel more. There you go. Let's see. Hardest things I've ever done for nearly 2.5 years. Let's see. AWS is leaky buckets again. They're selling the dream, not the reality. Let's see. Never click an ad other than to close it. Yep. No ads, please. Yep. Got a pie hole for us. There you go. Yep. Hell is that? That's why I have an older TV saved up. Yeah, I should see if I can't find a few more. I have a whole warehouse of old TVs. All right. Okay. Chemtrails are real. I've seen a lot of them. Yeah, oh yeah, of course they are. It's a conspiracy theory if you're on the right. If you're on the left, they're like UK just released the UK government just released the final approval to actually do chemtrails. Yes. MIT did an article, left-leaning paper at MIT. They talked about the climate change benefits of these. You know, it's going to solve global warming and all of the climate change just by putting all these little things up there. Yeah, that's chemtrails. That's what we've been telling back a long time. Shut up, conspiracy theorist. Lunduke already covered a while back. Which one did he cover? I don't know. Probably the pirated one. Yeah, the anti-piracy thing. Yeah. Let's see. If I remember correctly, they only licensed music for showing at a film festival, but then later continued to use the video. Yeah, that's possible. I did hear something about the music and the anti-privacy one as well, but the article only mentioned the font. Favorite was the first ever telegraph message sent 181 years ago, May 24th, 1844. What hath God brought? That should be a standard message. Amen to that. There you go. A PewDiePie fan, but I think it's a good thing he's promoting Linux. Yeah, I think that's probably a good case. Let's see. You full-time van life? Yes, I am. 5 years now. Let's see. I'm very pleased with the landlord. Hallway toilet has been messed up since we moved in. She won't pay for a plumber. Won't pay for a plumber. Her husband tried and failed to fix it. Okay, so in law, check your state. But in the law, if they are failing to fix an item and it's routinely broken and you have given them written notice, you are allowed in almost every state to hire a plumber, send them the receipt, and deduct the cost of the plumber from their rent. In many states, you are allowed to do that. You want to check with the rental laws in your state, but it would not surprise me if your state allows you to do that. So if you've already made them aware and they are not doing it and they refuse to pay for it, they are the landlord. It is on them to fix it. You now have the right, in almost every instance, to hire a plumber yourself and deduct the plumber's cost from your rent. Send them the balance of the rent plus the receipt. And the best they can do is sue you. And you're going to go into court. You say, oh, here's all the written notice. We told them it was broken. They refused to do it. We fixed it. And the judge is going to slap them silly. And in some states, they might also penalize the landlord more. They might force the city to go and inspect the property and make sure it's not in a legal place. So there's a lot of recourse you have in that case. Don't deal with stuff that doesn't work in your apartment. Don't let them walk over you. Does anyone know the rumor about new pipe being abandoned holds water? I have no idea. All his fans saying they are not welcome to use Linux. That's stupid. I'll have to look into some of that. I don't know. Okay, higher DI is becoming a bridge. Feels like purgatory. Just fill out your applications to say you're half Native American, you know. Or consider using Raspberry Pi to stream public domain and CC0 music. As far as like to stream it out, no, because I'm in a van full time. I don't have internet running all the time. I don't have the power for that. A friend of mine though does actually do radio station stuff. I need to do a video on the PewDiePie video. There are some of the community, including the elementary OS dev, calling him and his viewers Nazis, trying to gatekeep Linux. Well, like the elementary OS dev is mentally ill, so you know. Let's see. Bad thing is the Linux user base needs to stay small to avoid corporate creep. You know. Yeah, I mean, I'm of a mixed opinion of it. I think that if a huge creator like PewDiePie talks about Linux, it's probably a net good thing. Unless it's all, this stuff is completely horrible, no one should ever use it. But I'd have to have a look at his video. I haven't had a look at it yet. I'll have to look at the video and see what I think of it. Okay. This channel's about getting more people to use Linux, not gatekeeping. Yep. Surprise PewDiePie is just part of the standard autofill on my phone. Yeah. Actually, we should be as well. Switch 2 should bring you Linux as the first one, I think. All right, let me check over everywhere else. We've pretty much run out of comments there. Let me check out what we got over here. Radioactivity and Parents album collected as kid in the 70s. Let's see. Some discussion of an album over there or something. And let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't leave where I was over here. Hoping everyone's liking the new format. Yeah, absolutely. Let me know, you guys in the comments how you like this new format here. Again, there will not be an edited version out. Okay, I think we have hit the bottom of the comments everywhere. Let me go ahead and check one more time over on Matrix here. Got to boot that guy back up. And yep, looks like we hit the bottom of the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you guys next week on the Weekly News Roundup Live. Of course, we'll be getting out some more videos here soon. And stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.